President Trump is signaling a potential major reduction in tariffs on China. He posted on social media, quote, "An 80% tariff on China seems right," saying it's up to Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. The move comes as Bessent is set to meet.
So President Trump says that 80% seems to be right for China. He says that decision is going to be on one of his administration workers, Scott Bessent. Well, with it coming from 140% to 80%, that's pretty good. It's better than where it was before. Many people are still making money. Our economy is doing well. When it comes to China, they're more suffering than where we are. And when you look at the cost of goods and how much of a markup that it has been, the overwhelming markup prices is going to be adjusting. And in that adjustment, what the president is more concerned with is not the everyday Americans at this time, not the beauty industry, not the luxury purse industry, but President Trump area is the automotive industry, the steel industry, and the aluminum industry. That industry, as we learned, when it came to Canada, he put a 25% tax on Canada, and it is a tax that Canada wasn't too happy with, or a tariff price that Canada wasn't too happy with. And not Mark Carney, but his predecessor said that we cannot survive. Canada can't survive at those prices. And that's how the talking points came, well, maybe you need to become the 51st state because we're paying for everything. That's what Trump had exposed. Now, there's some grumbling going on. People are having challenges like that, but we're now into, you've heard this phrase before, a brave new world. And the rest of the world right now has to come with responsibility. It tells me this, that one, money isn't going to be flowing as freely as it once was. The bailouts, as we knew that as it was going to the banks, bailouts were also, from what we can see, were going to nations. That's why they didn't have to pay those tariffs. Well, now the bailout mindset, the privileged mindset, the privileged economy, the DEI economy, all that is being shut down. Right now, it is the pull yourself up by your Timberland straps. This is a very serious time for the world, not just America. Already, Apple computers and other software companies have started building their factories in America. They left China. Other nations, India is saying we can cut some of the slack. Well, one thing that India is not going to do is the steel. They're not going to do the aluminum. They're not going to do cars, but they will be competitive and they're going to want to pay the tariffs. Now, India, strangely enough, was a part of what we call the BRICS nation. Brazil, Russia, then India, China, South Africa, and of the BRIC nations, India said, we're going to work with America. So that shows us that prior to these tariffs, everybody was going on about their business, working together against America. And Trump has come in and has played hardball, and the other nations are coming to the table. And the rest of everybody else, they're going to figure it out. But one thing is this. Money is coming to America and it's coming to the American people. Taxes are being reduced. We're coming into a season where the people in America are no longer going to have job wages that are so inexpensive, or so cheap, I should say, whereas those type of jobs were meant for migrants. That's not happening anymore. Everything has to go up and people will have to afford to pay those prices of what's needed. In other words, you are worthy of your hire in this new economy. Trump may take credit for it and call it the Trump economy, But I believe that we're come to a point to whereas Trump and America has had no choice but to do what we're doing right now. Because it was always said years ago that the can cannot be kicked anymore. The free spending, the pork spending cannot continue. That's the noise for you. Make sure you give me one of those. Subscribe. I thank you for being a part of our broadcast. We're part of Kingdom Builders Ministry. Welcome to Beyond the Noise.